folks, I'm going to tell you 5 quick facts about black bull markets. Now, did you know, number 1, they're New Zealand FMA regulated. Number 2, did you know they have a copy trading service where you can either be a signal provider or copy signals? And number 3, did you know they've got over 26,000 tradable assets, including Forex, crypto, stocks, indices, and even more? And number 4, did you know they offer 500 to 1 leverage? And number 5, if you open up an account today and trade 1 lot a month, they're going to give you TradingView Pro for free. Check them out, Black Bull Markets.
Good afternoon, evening, good morning, everyone. Just doing a quick sound check. How we're doing today? Good afternoon, evening, good morning. There we go. I'll just check my sound. It's good. It's good. Hello, Cleofa. How are we going today? Oh, we out here streaming, making sure that we're hitting the sessions. If you're unaware, right now, ICT is doing a 1 trade setup for live stream, but it will be recorded and you can rewatch it as many times as you want. I'm an ICT advocate, okay, because I believe this stuff has lots of value. Hello, Bahez. Hello, Sir AJ. Matt. Zalazar. Ooh, that is a nice name, Zalazar. I like that. That's cool. Shalom Simpson. What's up, my man? What's up? Okay, thank you so much for tuning in and joining in the stream today. Of course, we are trading our Blue Guardian 100K account. Let me just get the dashboard up. If you were following along on my Twitter yesterday, I gave a call out indicating the void that we identified in the stream yesterday. And then that played out quite nicely, actually. It hit it, and I'll show you the chart after I just log in. Yeah, so let's just present the Blue Guardian challenge for the day so that you can see where we are sitting at. Okay, so let's go quickly over to the dashboard, and I will actually just make this big, put my face down so you can see everything over here. All right, so currently we're sitting on a 0.243 profit. Of course, that little drawdown there was just because of commissions, and then because it was a break-even trade, and then we've come up and we're going to continue. So we have our 5 trades taken. Our win rate's around 60%. Profit factor is 3.89. Average RR is 2.59. And we've been trading for a day and 23 hours. Now, of course, we still have our 4,000. Today's permitted loss is 4,000. Max permitted loss is 8,000. They haven't updated that. I thought that they would update that just because of the equity, because from what I did, because I just made sure I asked them a lot of questions. And those questions were all about, is the account equity based or is it percentage of account based? So what that means is that you'll have other prop firms like FTMO, for example, where no matter how much you increase the liquidity, no matter how much you increase your gains, you will still be at a certain thing because it's based on initial account balance for your trading. Blue Guardian, they said that they're based on equity, which is quite nice because as you scale up the account, the equity goes up, and this should also go up at the same time. Okay, so max permitted loss is that much, and is that much. That should increase with the incremental gains on the account. Now, of course, we're going to our Guardian Protector and we're increasing our risk parameter. Yeah, it's the same as yesterday, which is good. Just going to turn that off, make sure that everything is on, and then turn it on again. And so we have our stops. This is obviously max loss. I'm not allowed to take that kind of a loss for the day. So the amount I'm willing to risk is only $551. So in amount, that's how much it is. Let's go back to the dashboard, close this out, and pull up the things from yesterday, and you'll see some very interesting things. That's why I said that it's very important to make sure that you set it up at this time exactly. Once you set everything up, you're able to see where everything is. So we had the DXY. And for that one gentleman in the charts that was that was like, oh, arrows don't mean anything. Well, arrows mean a lot, as you can see. It went exactly to where I thought it would, and then to the daily open, and then it continued going up. Now that continued in the day. If you see what happened, it went through the weekly gap and it went to the previous Hong Kong gap and the open for there. Right now we're sitting on our Hong Kong gap closing time, and we have equal highs at the top here. And I actually want price to drop and then come back. That's what I would like to see. But it might go the other way. It might go up here and then come down. Looking at EU, this is the void that I was speaking about yesterday. So we have that void in price. Of course, it's not depicted on TradingView. It's depicted on, it's only depicted on your broker chart. And so that's the void I was indicating. Yesterday, we didn't go all the way up here. It came up, it went down, it came up to that perfect point of liquidity that I mentioned, that nice little square, came there, tapped in that, and then continued going downwards. Where did it go down to? I haven't removed anything from my chart. If you go into the 15 minutes, I was talking about the 50% premium, okay? So we have the 50% of this leg over here, okay? This leg from here to the highs of this leg over here. Now that was not offered, it didn't offer 50%. So that fair value gap was very, very valid. At a time such as at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, okay, 3 o'clock London time, my bias was that because it came into this fair value gap and offered fair value at the 50% point on the dot, you can see right there, it then came and sought the void on the buy side. So we go down back into our 1 minute, and you can see that where we are in price. You can see how that came in there. It had a big move up, huge displacement, came back. If you were trading that at 3 o'clock, this was your fair value. This is your fair value gap. Then 3 o'clock comes in, gives you an entry, and then you take that up to, and you continue trading that all the way up to the void. They gave everyone a little bit of a skrik over here, a little bit of a shock. Why did it bounce off there? Because we had that continuous Hong Kong gap liquidity. You can see how it disrespects, it respects, it respects, it bounced down, came back into this little fair value gap right there that initially set it, and then continued its ride all the way up to the moon. Then we had New York. Now, New York started around the time, so 9:30, around the time that with the opening gap and the Hong Kong gap, and from there was a continuation. Now, Wednesdays normally see you can see these previous Hong Kong gaps as well. Came up, went down there, has come all the way up, went through this one, had a little bit of reaction, and then is continuing to go up to the next one. Now, for today, I've already done the preliminary analysis. So we have a nice perfect square of liquidity over here, equal highs over there. We have our opening gap range right over here, and that's represented exactly the same there. It's just filling it in over here. So it's almost filling it in over there. GBP, exactly the same thing. We have a huge move up to that massive opening gap that was created on Monday. Like you can see that is almost exactly to the pip. It's like I'm off by what, 0.4 of a pip here at the high. And then it comes down and it continues making its way down up until London, 10 o'clock, or 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Same as US 500 that we spoke about yesterday. And of course, as usual, it seeks settlement price at opening gap or Hong Kong, where we have a little bit of a reaction, goes into the next day's Hong Kong, and then we're setting up for today. AUD was very, very similar. We have gone from the opening gap, Hong Kong over there, came up. We had our buys going up past that 630 to 730, came down, set up these. Whenever you see something square like this, okay, whenever something is so square like that, please draw something on it, because that is later on its value, okay? You know that's a draw. So we have everything coming down here. It came down to previous Hong Kong gap, funnily enough, and at 9:30 to 10:10 or 9:50 to 10:10, we have our switch, and it goes from there and goes all the way back up to offer settlement price. And as you can see, it comes up here, and then during here, it comes straight back into settlement price for the previous day to just offer the people who weren't in it settlement, and then we continue. US 500, very, very, very similar charts. Of course, if you're trading New York, you'll be trading from 9:30. The 9:30 open is around about here. We had whatever price, 4 o'clock. Where we 3, 6, 9, 10, 10, 10. 4 o'clock will be around about here. Okay, so 4 o'clock gap was, I'm just rough balling it. Okay, if you're a New York trader, it's over here. That's the gap. We had opening price at 9:30. 9:30, that's opening. So then you draw that out over there, and then that is your gap. Of course, anything underneath the gap has to fill. So what happens is price at 9:50 to 10:10 creates a breakaway. And then, of course, that leads you to believe that it's going to go straight to that gap and fill it in. From that gap, it then comes down and creates a new day. Okay, so if you were trading New York and you were able to catch that, good on you. Still got 5 minutes before my trading system of activation is going to come into play. How's it? Yes. Sorry, I didn't read the... G'day, mates. Really excited. Yes, today's going to be another day. Every day on the charts is kind of similar. As you can see, every single day, these points and price are respected. I sound South African. Yes, I am South African, but I live in Australia. So what's an opening gap? An opening gap is the price difference. So if you see here on DXY, there is a difference in time, okay, from the closing of this candle at 6:04 to the opening of this candle at 7:45. There is no price reflected at all. Zero price, which means it's a gap or a void in price. And gaps and voids in price are like breaks in the algorithm, and they have to be filled. So price has come out of that gap and then is coming in to fill that gap. Can you show the last trade that you executed on Asia? Yes, I can, Tony. Right here, we're looking at 6:30, 7:30, broke this, creates square liquidity. That is a target. And then as soon as it comes down, breaks this, it came up over here. I entered on this fair value gap right here. I took that trade over there because I expected it to go after it came down, taking the 630 down here. I expected it to seek from there this liquidity over here and unfortunately, it came back and stopped me out. That's okay, at break even. And then I had a follow-on one, which we identified on stream right here. Okay, and then that went up and then continued going up. Now, I only took a little bit of that, unfortunately. But hey, that fair value gap was expected later on. And if you were trading at that time, it continued and was seeking that 630, 730, just as we mentioned. So I'm just going to remove these things because they have now been seen to, and they aren't gaps in price. Things that we look at and we keep on our charts are value propositions, of course, the things that are gaps, weekly openings, things like that. We keep them on our charts. So what do we have here in our trading time zone? We have our 630 to 730, which is 630, which is right over here. Okay, you can see how perfectly that liquidity sets up. Dun, dun, dun. Sell side. And we have our 630 to 730, that will be the highest point. That will be buy side. Now, if price carries on continuing to come down, okay, I'll expect it to make moves. But if it leaves this open, you know that is a draw for later on. How do you know? How do you draw the Hong Kong gap? So you have your times, right? So the times, as I've explained in the previous streams, are actually, let me make it perfectly exact. Okay, you have 259, the closing candle of 259 here. Okay, the closing candle. Let's just make that perfectly exact. It's not perfect. There we go. It's perfect now. 259 closing. You can see how that candle respects, and if I go sideways, you'll see the bodies of these candles here. Respect there, respect, respect, respect. Continue going sideways, and there we go. The bodies of those candles respect, and you continue going. So that is the closing of the Hong Kong session. Okay, let me just remove that comment. That's the closing of that session. So that is a point of liquidity that has not been seen to yet in Asia. Okay, so Asia's possibly going to come down to this area, which is highly likely because of this nice square price, and then make a move up, which is in correlation with this is going to go up, take those equal highs that are over here, and then possibly come down. Then how long do you wait after open before your system takes effect? I start hunting in 1 minute. So at my time, it's 10:59 a.m. until 11:10 a.m. I hunt. And then if nothing happens, I wait until 11:30. If nothing happens, that's okay. We might have something that kicks in just before 12, between 11:50 and 12:10. On these charts, it's the time, because I correlated to London, just in case, not London, to New York, in case everyone is from different parts of the world. And I use the New York times, which is 8:50 until 10:10. Right now, in my system, I have a rule. If we're within price, if we're within the opening gap, okay, I don't see a trade panning out. If we're outside the gap, that's what I want to see, because the gap is my target. I use these gaps as targets. As you can see, on the previous day over here, this trade, where are we? Is that yesterday? Yeah, it is. On GBP, price goes out of the gap, and between 8.50 to 9.10, it creates an opportunity to get in to target the gap and the void. Very small moves in price. EU was the same. So we have price going out of the gap. So it goes out of the gap, 8.50, 10.10, it moves away and then makes its way towards the price. Unfortunately, there was this choppy, this little bit of a consolidation before the expansion, reversal, consolidation, expansion. But that's okay. It's a break even. Didn't lose money. So now it's 8.50 and price is going to start moving. Let's continue. I expect you to take more trades since you're a master trade reading price. If I don't trade this account, I don't trade this account during London or New York. I only trade this here with you guys in my morning. And then I take my trades on my personal throughout the rest of the day. So Ali Shahid, how do I set up my charts? This is exactly how I set up my charts. I have my times, okay, and my gaps that I'm referring to and looking at in price. And yeah, and then I just wait and I see on the activation times, I see if it wants to fill price in. You can see it just filled it in and then we're having a reaction. DXY is the same thing, although it's not perfect. It has not completely, it's left a tiny little bit there now of price that needs to be filled. Let's see what AU is doing. AU's got a really tight opening gap today. US 500. Oh. Yeah, exactly. TGJ. Did you change your name? Weren't you Terrence yesterday? But yeah, it came up, it came down, came up, and then eventually sought the gap. Okay, so if you're in a trade and you were between 9.50 and 10.10, it activated, left a fair value gap. If you took that fair value gap trade yesterday or during London and you set your stop just not exactly on the lows, but left like you still have to account for your spread. So that's 501. That's where we put it, and then you would have continued up to fill the rest of the gap, and you would have walked away with a clean 4R. So I like 4Rs because they're very common in the market. Is there spread enough? 5.2, 5.9. Yeah, there's enough spread. So you would have that trade would have completed perfectly. And if you're looking at price, you can see here on the side the things that are targeted. We spoke about in yesterday's stream. We have a void and we have a void. Okay, so let me just mark those out for you. And you can see that it came up perfectly and then continue going. Funny. Got you, TDJ, got you. If you were trading this currency, you know exactly what to look for. You know where it's going, all that kind of stuff. But right now, we're looking at this. We're within the range. We have taken the sell side, so I'm expecting a move to then go up to the buy side. The returns on this Asia strategy, because what it does is it puts you in front of the charts and you're assessing the charts and sometimes it's a trade, sometimes it's not a trade, and that's okay. The returns are generally between like 12 to 16% for the year, and that's really, really decent. Everyone's thinking, oh, crazy. But if you use this analysis throughout the rest of the day, you're able to identify most of what's happening in the chart all the time. So, for example, in my account, what am I at for this month so far? Let me go check. I'm sitting at 10.8% for the last 3 weeks. But after setting this stuff up for the day, you're able to utilize it with immense accuracy for the rest of the day. So for me, I say day because I wake up in the morning and I'm able to see the charts as they are right now, and I'm able to identify certain things in price and then use them throughout the rest of the day. And because I've already done the analysis, I don't need to stress. I don't need to fear. I can see it wherever I am. I can literally be on my phone. Like yesterday, I was actually in the hospital because I had some weird thing happening with my heart, and I was actually in the hospital. And I was taking trains with my phone in the hospital. But I already done the analysis, so I knew where price was. I knew the price points I wanted. I knew the voids, and I was able to just execute. How do you find me on Twitter? I'm at the only Gentsla. That's my Twitter handle. So you see how beautiful this square liquidity is over here. It's absolutely stunning. And of course, you have your 730 buy side over there. You have your equal highs. I haven't made it perfect because it was just a general analysis, but let me just make it perfect for everyone. So it's exactly on the candles. There we go. That's perfect. Perfection is key. Okay. Because then you're able to see how price responds. This perfect square liquidity between here at 9918 and here at 9913 will be reflected on your fives. I'm just going to go check the broker, because again, every broker will have a slightly different price. Yeah, Tony, exactly. Like if you're outperforming inflation with a little bit of gain, then what I'll take 10% over inflation anytime. So inflation in most countries is currently sitting between like 4 to 8% aroundish. In some countries it's 10, 11, 12. It's crazy. But like 4 to 8% generally. And so if you're making anything over 4% for the year, you have saved your money. So I'm just checking this chart. What prices do I have here? 9920 and 9912. Is that the same thing? 9920. My chart's slightly different. So it's just underneath this. It's not 21, it's 20. And 12 is just below here. So mine reflects a slightly different price to this. But what we're looking at is that squareness right there. You see the bodies of those candles, the wicks where they come to, and the bodies and the wicks and stuff, they're where they come to here. That's what you're doing. So you're going to do that on your own broker. You're going to see. That is a target for later on. Okay, it's an important target. Now, because of the range yesterday, like this. Okay, we had a huge range day. Wednesday is normally an expansion, what I call an expansion day, in that a continuation day, in that in New York, it will pump price up, and then it won't reverse in the afternoon session. It will continue going up in the afternoon session. Wednesdays that's a very common Wednesday thing. It happens seven out of 10 times. So I'm kind of expecting the price to come back in, but what they'll do is they will see these equal highs that have been set right here. They will push price around and entice people into thinking, oh, it's going to continue going along, and then rip them out and then go lower. What's DXY doing? Almost. Still within the range. Come in. Now we had a break yesterday in the correlation between the pairs. What I mean by that is in this huge move over here, price is going down. So you can see here from 2 o'clock or London session to 3 o'clock ish, price went down until 6. All right. In Euro, it was the opposite. From 3 o'clock over here until 6, price actually went up. Now that to me suggests that price is broken and that things after that are a bit risky. Now, of course, Big Daddy P was having a conversation yesterday. If you don't know who Big Daddy P is, that's Jerome Powell of the Fed. And when he talks, everyone listens because he's the one that turns on the money printer. So interest rates are quite important. I'm actually going to my chart. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to the stream. If you find value or anything in this content, make sure you drop a like and follow Cam's channel. Trading Nuts channel. Just because he doesn't just have me on, he's got other people on as well, and they trade. We are all our streamers. We're doing all like different sessions. So he's got someone streaming the London session. I think it's Lord Banks. He's a confirmed profitable trader that is streaming, and he has his activation system. He trades whatever pairs he does. I don't necessarily follow his stuff because the way he trades is not how I trade. And again, if I like people, well, the people that I watch generally are people that have the same kind of activation system that I do and think the same way, and we all speak the same language. So I'm not a person that deals with trend lines and moving averages, and I deal with correlations in pairs and time. And like yesterday, there was from that session after that void was seen to, there was a break in the market, and then after that just made me just like, nah, I'm not going to trade New York, just because it's not. When you have an edge, I think of it like a knife. Okay, you've got a knife; it's nice and sharp, and you can use it to carry cuts in the market up. Okay, but sometimes it can get a bit blunt, and that's what happens when the market has things in the market where you don't necessarily, how do I put it? Your edge is not active anymore. Okay, there's no correlation between the pairs. Therefore, I don't have an edge. So if I was to trade using my system, it would be more of a gamble. So what do? I go away, I sharpen my tool, and then I come back the next day. Yeah, Tony. There's not a lot of traders actually have the balls to trade the Asia session because it's slow and it's but if you're able to analyze the Asia session properly and see these things in price, what you'll notice is that it's actually quite consistent. It's very, very consistent. And then you're able to use all the data that you've collected in the Asia session throughout the rest of the day. Yeah, that overtrading. That's actually one of the reasons why Blue Guardian is actually quite cool, because you can set your limits. Yes, you can go in and change it, but once you set your limits, there's actually a button you can turn on where you can turn off trading for the day. Like you disable your account until the next day so that you're unable to get into and chop that desire. So typically in a day across my accounts, I'll take, again, it depends on the market. Asia session will give me maybe 2 to 3 trades in a week. You'll have London that will give you, again, like 2 to 3, maybe 4 trades, and then New York that will give you the same amount-ish. So across that, you can look at between like 9 to 12 trades in a week. Again, if you chop that down into, if you're trading just one session, then you'll be getting like 2 to 3 trades in the week. And of course, if you are super specific and you trade one day of the week, because what you need to start doing, especially if you're new, is journaling your trades, and when the profitable ones are, and when the losses are, and gain a whole bunch of like back testing like data. Okay. And once you've done that, you can see, okay, well, Wednesday for me with my particular activating system is a very, very profitable day. Then you know that you can refine your days down to, okay, we'll only trade on a Wednesday and a Thursday, depending on whatever your system has seen to be profitable. On the other days, I won't trade. Then what you're doing is you're honing and refining your edge even further. So you have time of day, day of week, week of month. I'm looking at the square, price is coming to it. DXY is pulling down. It's left this a little bit open. So as usual, price from a square point, okay, from a perfection in price, it pushes away and then makes a little reversal to come back. Now I saw this break of structure, but I didn't take this trade because the only fair value gap was up here, and there's not enough room. If you look from here to here, there's what, 2 pips? There's not enough room for an entry from there. So let's go here to here, 3.2 pips, not enough. Because again, what you're looking at is you're trying to compete. You're using a very small range, so therefore you're using larger lot sizes. The lot sizes will incur higher commission fees. Okay, these higher commission fees mean that you need to travel a little bit of distance to pay off the commission, basically. And when you're in these pairs, having like no spread is quite important. It's like right now on the Blue Guardian, because they use 8 cap, there is between a 0.0 to 0.1% of a pip spread. On GBP, actually, it's a 0.1 to 0.2 pip spread, and AUD has got a 0.3. Yeah, 0.3. It's consistent. Looking at this right now. But I'm just waiting for an indication that it wants to move. And where is it going to move? Well, first of all, it needs to take these equal highs over here. You can see there, it says equal high. It's a bit far out, but these equal highs need to be taken. And that buy side needs to be taken. And if you use like the concept I spoke about yesterday, the bottom of this leg, okay, to the top of this leg, where's 50%? Right there, fair value is offered to take it higher. Now I'm expecting it to come into this big green thing, because that big green thing, if you go into the 1 hour, is a massive Hong Kong gap. It's a big one. We're residing within this opening gap range as well, right over here. So that's what that number is there. And price does need to come back. It does need to offer fair value here. So we have gone up, but again, from the low of that leg, which is here, to the high of that leg is wherever over here. And funnily enough, that puts it around 1.09500. And what you'll see throughout the day is that price will come up and we'll have to rebalance down to that level. If it continues going up and leaves this open, then just like over here, okay, from that low to that high, it has not given fair value down here. So what we have is these massive moves that are building, these massive moves. I don't know if Big Daddy P's speech later on today is going to impact the market in a way that's just going to rip everything down again, because DXY is going to just make a monster move going higher. But what we have from yesterday is we have liquidity was seen to during London and New York, settlement was achieved. So today, what we have is a new settlement price. Like, look how perfection, like it's just stunning. And that was set at 259, that thing in price. Okay, look how it respects that price exactly. On AUD, on GU, comes up, has not touched there yet. Euro, I'm on the 1 hour, sorry. Euro is on the sell side. That's why I say that the markets are kind of broken a little bit. GBP needs to go higher to balance it out, and Euro needs to go lower so they can meet in the middle somewhere. Or Euro needs to just have like consistent flat days so that GBP can catch up. So what would trigger a trade for me right now is we've just taken the 630 to sell side. So we've taken we filled in this whole complete range. Okay, 630 to 730 sell side has been done. This move was just made to take the 730. So obviously the next move would be for price to come down, because it now needs to offer fair value to the rest of all of this. Fair value of this leg was taken. So now we are projecting a range, of course. Again, your projections should be based on the previous leg. So if you're looking at these legs over here, like if I go into the 5 minutes, okay, this leg over here, they will offer an equal measured move, or half of it. So we have from here to here. If I take that and I pull it up, we have an equal measured move, meaning that you have either 50% of that or at 100% of that move, okay, what we'll have is price will be drawn to that or higher to come down. Now, what's nice is that if you include round numbers within your analysis, all right, these round numbers are important. As you can see, I have like 09800. I have over here 01000, 010,000. I mean 1000. What these are round numbers. Round numbers are very, very impactful. So 200, 500s over here, 800, round number. Now they are, if you draw them out on your chart, you'll see that price bounces around from these round numbers. Muffin, Euro GBP, I don't trade the exotics. I only trade pairs that are crossed with USD. I haven't actually done on how many ADRs or standard deviations that it goes from. What I do is I look at the legs themselves. And then I go from a time. So right now, 9:15 has been set. Okay, so this is the set of what's being set right now. The close of this candle at 9:15. Let me just go to 1 minute. At the close of the 9:15 candle over here, and the open of 9:16 right there, that is now your Hong Kong gap set for the day. Now we have liquidity on the sell side. If price wants to break structure, because we've taken buy side, there is a high probability that it will come lower. But I would want it to go further away. Yes, TDJ, exactly. What I would like to see is I would like to see price either from here or from the one above presents an opportunity to come down. Now, DXY is the same thing. So what we have is this move right over here. Okay, from the high of that red candle to the low of that red candle. We have that there, and you have your 50% extra, and you have your 100% extra over there. Now, if anything presents, as in if price moves down, then what I'm doing is I'm looking and I'm seeking a reversal indication. What's a reversal indication? A reversal indication is a market structure shift. So that is, you can see, I can just go back just a tiny bit over here. If you see price goes up, 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 okay, you have your liquidity, which is the highs or whatever it is that you look for. Okay, we have that's liquidity, that's liquidity, that's liquidity, that's liquidity, that's liquidity. As you can see, what price does here is hasn't come down and fully taken the sell side over here. So a market structure shift is price will take some form of liquidity. It will then create a move down. It doesn't need to break this leg. What it does is it comes down, and there is a shift in structure, which means that that candle has been broken. That's been broken, price has come down. You then have a fair value gap within that, and then that is your trade to go to the opposing side of liquidity. That's all it is. That's a reversal pattern right there. It happens, the same thing every day. So right now we're setting up a bit of a square liquidity on GU and EU. Which means when it's square, what we expect is for price to go away from it first, create a reversal pattern, and then come back towards it. So let me just do this again on when there was another one. Okay, so we have, you can even see here. Okay, this is a reversal pattern, but it doesn't mean that it's a complete reversal in price. It's just you identify that price has shifted to go lower. Okay, what we have is prices going up. It's going up. You can see all these candles here. They haven't been broken, haven't been broken, haven't been broken, haven't been broken. And we have a break in price. We have that fair value gap right there. That could have been a trade from wherever you have your highs, and we have your target 1 to 2, 1 to 1, whatever you want. Okay, depending on your backtest and your research and stuff during that time. Same thing. We have this price over here. It's immediately broken. There was no fair value gap, so you can't take that. It then seeks more liquidity. This is a 2020 ICT 2022 model. As soon as that red candle there is broken, that red one there, that's a market structure shift, which means you're looking at a fair value gap within price, which is right there. And then you take your trade from that and you target liquidity. Okay, this is indication now. We actually have the squareness, but no fair value gap. Sorry, let me reset fast view. So yes, so you can see the squareness is set. It has broken. The fair value gap is the price difference of 3 candles. So over here you have 1, 2, 3. You have a wick over here, a body over here. There's no wick coming down to close price, so that would be a fair value gap. But now you can't just take any fair value gap, like all these fair value gaps. You can't just take any of them. Yeah, it has to come from a place where it has taken liquidity. So as you can see over here, sell side liquidity was taken. It's come up. This did not break that over there. It's come up. It did not break that one. This has not broken that. That would be a slight market structure shift, but because of this liquidity on the bottom, it would be trying. Okay. There's a fair value gap here, but you can't take it because it hasn't shifted in market structure yet, so that's invalid. We then have a shift in market structure, but no fair value gap to take the buy side. So that's why I didn't take the trade and I was waiting. So just being able to identify these shifts in the market are very, very important. They're kind of key to your trading experience. Now that we have this price over here, what we are expecting is and it's taken the sell side and the buy side, is we're expecting the Hong Kong gap to fill, because anything before that price, any price before that, from here to here, you could literally just draw a black box around it. Okay, let me just make this opacity 100, make it a black box. Okay, all of this price, it means nothing. There's a big gap in the market that needs to be filled. That's how I think about it. I was thinking about how to make sure you visualize that you can visualize it. So there's according to the algorithm, there is no price at this point, so it needs to go down. Now we have another break. We have a fair value gap. We'll see what this candle closes in. If it goes up over here and fills it in and comes down, how many seconds we've got? It's not a fair value gap yet. We have to wait for that, because like I say, we have to wait for the difference of 3 candles. The time now is 3:30. That is a tiny fair value gap. According to my strategy, it's should be 9, 26, 27. We might come up into here to come lower. Come up to 9:15. Let's see what price does. Okay, now we've come, we've come and taken the liquidity over here. Let's see. It wants to break again. Oh, let me actually add music to this. Make it slightly lower. This for me would be a sell. Because again, I'm looking at the correlation of the other charts. Everything is pushing downwards and this is pushing upwards. Whereas we have GBP pushing downwards. We have AU pushing downwards. So we're just waiting for a proper fair value gap. That wasn't enough. Come on. Previous 9 o'clock. Here. Have you created a wick? Or are you going to close higher? bouncing on that perfect price. Again, this needs to be filled. And price has gone above it. It's taken liquidity. Yeah, this actually is valid. We'll see after this candle. No, it's not valid. Interesting. That's not reflecting on my charts. Not responding to the same levels. It's fascinating. Previous days, 9:15. Sorry, I'm busy watching all three pairs. I'm watching this one to see how it's responding. Let's set up a whole bunch of equal liquidity on the buy side right over here. Okay, we have this fair value gap here, which is just touched into AUD. There is no liquidity on the buy side. That has been taken, and that massive taking of it has pushed it down. Again, there was no fair value gap within that price. It was broken, no fair value gap. Next one, it's taken. There's a fair value gap here. That is moving. Euro is pushing higher. So what we have is we have an SMT divergence. What's the time? 34. They might be running it into the next time zone. DXY has taken this liquidity on the sell side and it's pushing away. Now it has not filled this in yet. What's the time on the candle? 49. We'll see in a minute. AU and GU now have a lot of liquidity on the sell side as well. And euros pushed higher. So again, with correlating markets, two pairs are pushing downwards and one pair is resisting. Couple of seconds. See what happens here. Now again, there's a fair value gap here, but we have structure. So this leg would need to get broken. So that is a fair value gap now, right there. And we're going to see if price wants to break lower than this point. We've come to that perfectly square liquidity over here. And if it decides to break lower, then it means that this fair value gap and maybe the one that's set over here, depending on if there is valid for an entry on the short side. I'm actually a bit cold. And then of course, what we'll be looking at is from this price over here is, this is euro, yeah, is from this price over here for it to go down to the bottom of the range, which of course is underneath the daily. And then it will be going to the square price over here and filling in the Hong Kong gap. Do we have news? Powell says inflation. I didn't watch Big Daddy P's speech last night because I was actually sleeping. I was quite tired after my trip to the hospital. Oh, damn. Yeah, that's a fair value gap. But again, we've not necessarily changed structure yet. It's all just patience and a waiting game. If you look at GU, this leg over here, we have broken structure, which means that that fair value gap that we spoke about, showing validity, except we have these equal highs over here now. On that, whenever I see equal highs, for me, it's a draw. Whether it's now or later, it's a draw. AU's coming into this tiny little place right here. Let me check AU. Is there a void? What price is that? $3.5, $2.36. AU has the same corresponding thing, so we have 9.15, 15, 16, closing at 15, opening at 16. This is our Hong Kong gap on AU. Company's given this price, we've taken liquidity. I would expect price to go lower on AU. This big wick over here coming in. Whenever I see that, again, whenever I see big wicks like this, for me, they are targets. I look at them as I want price to go to this level. Oh, it should be time. So I would like to test a market profile I coded that takes into account only a specified time range and see how it looks with the Hong Kong gap time range. Please could you tell me which range it is? So the HKG, again, it is something that I found in price, funnily enough. One of my lonesome. The times are indicated on the chart. So it's the close of 2:59 p.m. And the open of 9:16, which is the close of 9:15. How's GBP looking? Like I said, the markets are a little bit broken. But you see how at this point over here, I can see how price respects that area. It's very funny. Yeah, no worries at all. No stress. He's pushing. Ooh. GBP is resisting. Ooh. What's he doing? Let's come back to this fair value gap. Again, we didn't have a breaker structure, so these fair value gaps are not necessarily valid. So what I'm looking for is like a sharp-ish kind of move. So it goes whack and then like literally just takes out. So now this structure has been set. You can see this candle here. This is our next structure point right there. AU is coming down off of that structure point right there. GBP is just carrying on doing what it's doing. So of course this can all be inversely correlated to buys or sells. When we're going up, okay, I'm looking at red candles for a change. When we're coming down, I'm looking at blue candles for a change. I must change this back to gold. Oh, that was nice. Zao. So I think I got a question before about can you take this onto other pairs as well? Yes, you can take this onto other pairs as well. So it's exactly the same thing. You have on gold 630 to 730. So 630 here. Okay, you're looking at 730, the lowest low 730, which is over here. As you can see, what price did was it, after taking this high over here, it came down to seek that liquidity, created build-up, broke that liquidity. After that happened, we then have a seek of buy-side liquidity. I'm actually just, there might be a trade here. I'm like shivering, I'm cold. So this equal high was taken. It's gone up. It's created a tiny little equal high here. But that could be left for later. We're looking at the time right now. AU is pulling down. It's good. GU is consolidating. As highs there are a bit sneaky though. We have broken this over here, but again, it depends on we have a fair value gap. Look up at spread. And we're targeting sell side. It's time. 58, 48. So that is now just created the top wick of the hour. As you can see from down here, from 9 o'clock, we had an instantaneous move up and didn't give it balance. It's gone straight up. In this leg, fair value has not been offered. Let's see if it actually triggers our entry. And we're triggered. Yep, that's the 1 minute. Ooh. Is there a void in price on the last push up on AU? Yes, there is a void on AU. But there's a lapping gap as well, just at the top. But what I'm looking at is the 8054 to 8052. It's not a void. This is a volume imbalance. So that's slightly different to a void. Yeah, challenge is going all right. We're up a little bit. We just got triggered in a trade. And yeah, we're waiting to see if it pans out or not. Again, my risk to reward ratio is at 4. Okay, at 2, which is over here. That is when I have partials coming off. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. While this happens, I'm just gonna go get a jersey because I'm a little bit cold.
Just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand, and damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincing you hours it takes to get some power. Sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. Doubters, they're just dumb downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns. Who were up top, they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Just finishing to the best loser wins audiobook. No, I haven't listened to it. What's it about? Trade psychology. It's a good read, listen. Yeah. Oh, well, that was unexpected. Trade psychology. Okay, now what you'll see is that we are creating the next wick. So that was the wick, okay, of the candle. Now we have the opening price coming in soon at 10 o'clock right here. And what do we have? Yeah, GBP and Euro have definitely created the SMT. AU actually snaked the highs. Look at that. Snaked the highs there before coming down. Oh, I'm so cold. I'm shivering. I should turn my heater on. Ah, cheers, man. Yeah, long time. We're just out here trading every day. As I say, and will always say, as long as you're present on the charts at the same time every single day, you begin to see things in the market. As I said, this leg, so let's go to the 5 minute. Oh. This leg has not been offered necessarily fair value. Okay, so we have the low over there and the high over here. 50%. There's a little fair value gap in that needs to be balanced out. Our trade goes beyond that because we have massive liquidity down below and our Hong Kong gap. Again, if price wants to come up, a loss is a loss, and you move on to the next. Nothing changes. Let's go look at the hourly. Yeah. 9 o'clock's going to close very, very soon. 10's going to open in 1 minute. Then what we'll have is we'll have a 50% move of this leg, which has not been balanced. So I'm expecting lots of sell, which puts that perfectly within the Hong Kong gap down below. And then there's this move as well. It's also not been offered fair value. So from here to here, fair values over here. Which finally puts that within this Hong Kong gap. So my analysis is sells, definitely. But again, we can always be wrong. Doesn't change the way that you trade. Doesn't change the way that you view the market. Just means you might not have had a good day. Sorry. You can see it's shaking because I'm like shivering. So DXY has reflected the same thing. So we've gone up. We have a breaker structure. It's come down to seek liquidity on the sell side. It took that sell side liquidity and now has just broken structure on the buy side. It's left equal lows down here, but price should balance. Yeah. And you just take part in these small moves. Oh, that's nice. Going to Italy. Beautiful. Good work. For some reason today, like the sun came out a little bit and it's just gone chilly. Why are you screaming sell gold now? Well, if you're looking at the rest of the markets, what you're looking at is everything is going to sell off because DXY is making its moves. But DXY has also got a little bit of a shifty. It's also got a little bit of a shifty equal liquidity. So we have equal lows on this side. I'm not a gold seller, so I don't trade gold, even though I could, because my rules apply to gold as well. It applies to indices and applies to almost everything. There's another equal low there. But as you can see, there's a shift in structure. And on DXY, actually, funnily enough, this is what's called a volume imbalance. So let me pull that up. Ooh, where's my volume imbalance? Here it is. Gold dropping heavy, of course. 2 hours just ticked off, so we now have a free trade. It came and swept this sell side over here. Just looking at it. But DXY buy side has not been taken, the equal buy side. Oh yeah, I forgot to set the Hong Kong gap value on DXY. 15, 16, 16. There we go. Oh, look at AUD. See, it's take the highs, fair value gaps. There's equal highs here now, though. And then it's just completely reversed on its head. I love to see. I love price. Watching these things in the markets. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And oh yes. Again, why I love saying it is you look at this and you're like, oh, it's just arrows. Yeah, that's right. Expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next? You got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. Opening gap. New engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just hold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just give it discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. So it's sitting at that 2 hour mark.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him instead of searching inside for what they gave him.
Again,
A strong will, strong
who wants to
mind,
come up?
mayhem. We could change the world, change times,
It's fine.
rearrange them.
We'll break even.
Running the race, life is a chase. I don't wanna place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5. No mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me.
And now I'm just putting my stop to break even in case it wants to come up and snap me out. Again, it's just a free ride. Yeah, that's how it is. If it wants to go further, again, I'm expecting it to continue all the way down to here. What price is that? 9. There's, I mean, 1.1 spot 09846. It's same as yesterday. Wants to pull out. We have our bank made. If not, it is what it is. So make this perfectly square. Okay. Everyone thinks Asia is untradeable. You can make money. It just takes a bit longer. It takes a bit more patience. Because the market isn't as volatile. But you see how the algorithm kicked in? Now, at a certain time, what time was that? 9:50 to 10:10, and then creates a move. Algorithm kicks in, and off we go. Ooh. Got my heater next to me. It's turned on. Wow! Just look at AUD. Oh, I should have been trading AUD today, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I actually would have got sniped out by this sneaky high that they had, and they didn't actually come in. There was a fair value gap in here, but it did it all. This type of pattern over here is what ICT calls an IOFED, institutional order flow entry drill, IOFED. That's what he calls it. There was a fair value gap, and they had multiple times to get in before the rip down. So that in essence, that move right there, that equal high, was I don't have IOFed on yet because it happens. But just look at that ripping. That's so beautiful. Anyways. Yes, Tom. That's what we're talking about. Those demos are ripping it, bro. Ripping those demo accounts hard. Love it. Just so you know, all broker, or I'm not broker, even broker accounts, they're all demos. Everything's just demo. Nothing is ever sent through the real market. Oh, I love that. My arrows are just... Ooh! We're at the opening gap. Previous day's opening gap, though. Let's see if we go to the Hong Kong. DXY, filling it in. Filling today's in, because there's that little part on the buy side that is completely unfilled. It's not perfect. I'll just make it perfect. There we go, that's perfect. That little bit of liquidity there has not been seen to yet. It's not been filled. It's still, according to the algorithm, there's still a gap, a void in price. What just happened? Did it manually... No. My trade manager chop. It just chopped another 50%, but I don't have that in the settings. Only a 50% taken off a 2R. Why is that? Why is it taking me out? That's weird. The trade manager is chopping me around today. You know what? I'm just going to full exit this trade because there will always be another day. I know it's going to go lower. It's just I need to figure out what my trade manager was doing. Why did it pull me out half of my trade when I'd already manually exited half of my trade at 2R? That's strange. Anyways, I'll get onto it. We're almost at complete 4R. For some reason, after it was here, between that point and that point, halfway, it pulled me out another 50% of my position. So we don't have full profits, unfortunately. But again, it is what it is. Things happen and life goes on. So thank you so much for tuning in today. As you can see, we are in still, or I actually manually exited right here just because I want to sort this manager out. I'm actually just going to remove the partial stop loss and just take a full target and do manual from now on. We know that it's going to continue going down. We're at this beautiful square liquidity right now in price. As you can see, it's just bouncing on there. GBP has completely pushed. We knew it was going down. AUD, same thing. If all pairs should be correlated the same. And we had that divergence. Again, what was the divergence? Well, we had price in GBP coming down. Do you see the highs over here? Down, 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 down. And then we had Euro, which was doing a up, up, and then a maybe, maybe, maybe. Yeah, you can see the difference between that. That there is SMT Divergence. After that's spotted, one of the pairs makes a move. The other one will tend to pull out a high, like it did over here. It went higher and then did something. It sets this. Sometimes what happens is it actually goes slightly further than, like GBP, for example. This will just keep pushing lower, but it'll push higher because what it does is it stops these people out. It takes them out of the trade because algorithm that they don't want people to be profitable. They want you to think you can be. So what it'll do is that it'll put you out here and then create a drastic move. But again, we're looking at our time. Our time was 9:50 to 10:10. We spotted that fair value gap. We entered, stops above the high with spread just in case, and then bang. They might not pull it further, so that's why I manually exited at this point. Now let's go back on to our account. End of stream. You're not showing today's profits, Blue Guardian. Sorry, that's wrong. Present, share screen. Okay, so for today we've taken our trade and it's been successful. Yay. We have our trades. Recent ones sells. I don't know why it pulled me out. It's very strange. Very, very strange. It hasn't showed today's profits, even though you can see the account here, account size right now is 470.51. We're almost 0.5% up. We have a win rate of 75%, profit factor of 6.60. If everyone's confused about what you can't see that. If everyone's confused about what a profit factor is, it's very, very simple. A profit factor is the amount of dollars so that you're expected to make from $1. So that means that I'm risking $1 to make $6.60. That's the profit factor. Okay. And yeah, now we can increase our Guardian Protector. Because we are 0.5% up. Let me just go to the calculator. Later. 100,470.91. No, Google, please save me. Yes, 0.25 is 251 for our next. So that means that times 2 will be about the same. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Is there a macro on every hour 50 to hour 10? There are main macro times, which you will find in the charts. Okay. And there are, if it doesn't happen in that macro hour and you're expecting a certain thing to happen, that's what will happen. It'll carry on, switch into the next hour, to the next hour, to the next hour. But what I like doing is I like waiting for the main times of the day. So the main times are like now. As you can see, we just had a successful trade. The time after that is not London open at 2 o'clock, okay, but London at 3 o'clock. Okay, so you're looking at 2:50 to 10:10. I mean 3:10. If you're looking at New York, you're looking at there's 2 times, 8:50 to 9:10, depending on what they want to do, because they can sometimes pull it back an hour, or it's 9:50 to 10:10, or even after that is 10:50 to 11:10. Now, depending on all of that, if I pull up the remove, present, share screen. Okay, now, as I said, I've manually pulled out. We're done. That trade took hold, and let's just set it out. 48 until 10, 11. So that was what? Not even 20 minutes. Yeah. Trade entered, exited, done, finished. We again, if you're looking at the times, okay, except for Wednesday because it's a continuation day. Okay, there's another time. There's an afternoon trading time as well. Your main times will be around 3 o'clock ish. Okay, here's 3 o'clock ish. See what happens. We have unresolved buy side liquidity over here for the whole day. Okay, I'm not looking at every hour and 10 minutes because it's not going to give us the best possibility. Okay, because you might enter here and you get stopped out. You might enter here, you get stopped out. What happens? 2 o'clock, it shows you, okay, we're going. 3 o'clock then indicates, okay, we are still going up, and you enter the trade. Of course, there's the void, all that kind of stuff, unresolved buy side liquidity, and we take the trade and we go up. If you were a monster beast, you could have taken 2 trades. You could have gone up to the Hong Kong gap and exited. As it came down really hard, this is what I mean by the algorithm doesn't want people to be in the trades to make money. They will rip down really hard to go right back up. Now what they're doing is they're targeting all of these people who've entered the trade, and what they're doing is they're pulling their stop loss higher and higher and higher and higher. Because the classic knowledge is that if you have a break in structure like this, you pull your stop underneath there. The next one is it breaks over here, you pull your stop underneath there. If it breaks that again, you pull your stop underneath there. As soon as you've done that, your stop's underneath here, then they target it to reverse liquidity and then continue going forever. It's very, very simple. The job on the market is for you to lose money. So same thing here. If you say, for example, saw this, there's a fair value gap, you took this trade. As soon as structure was broken again down here, you pulled your stop from here down to here. Okay, then it got broken again, you pulled your stop from here maybe to here or here, and then they instantly reverse it and then continue going in the direction. Same thing over here. As you saw this change in structure, whatever it is, you enter the trade over here. Then what they do is they it's to equal up. That would have been up here, would have been there. As soon as price has made this low and starts breaking to make higher lows, the majority of people will pull their trades, their stop loss up to here. Then what they do is they rip it down on purpose to take majority of the traders out of the trade and then to pull price where they want it to go. It's a very, very common tactic that is used. It's manipulation. Exactly, Tom Wade. Exactly. You almost jumped out at that time yesterday. Exactly my point. Is because it's a manipulation tactic. They want either people to get afraid and to just exit, or they want you to lose money. Because some people, because how people normally trade is they enter continuation trades. So what they'll do is they'll have they'll see this kind of structure over here and they do this and they're like, okay, if it breaks down here, I'm going to enter there and go short. Now they would have been correct, but as soon as structure was broken, they put their stop losses back down. The entry price is here and their stop, they've pulled it down to try and like save them, to try and like reduce the risk in the market. It gets stopped out. They take a small loss. It's a loss. And then it continues going. So these continuation trades are what happens. So over here, as you can see, most people would have entered. If you see this, we have this, we have here. Okay, most people would have entered the trade at around that area. As soon as structure was broken, they're pulling their stops up from here to here, and as soon as it broke up here, they're putting their stop to the lowest low point after that, which is exactly where I put that line. Okay, so we have this high, that low, this high, that low, next high would still be that low. Okay, and then after this high, it's this low. So then that now is liquidity. And you can see that reflected as it comes down. That liquidity, you take to the right hand side, they target it, bang, and then they reverse it. So the algorithm works in mysterious ways. It's not mysterious if you just know what you're looking for. Okay, my advice is ICT has just done or is still currently doing, I don't know, a stream about a trade setup for life, like one trade setup. And of course it's discretionary. I haven't actually watched it yet because it was live while I was going live. And yeah, you know, very, very good, valuable knowledge. He might even offer you a setup to utilize. All right. Now, if you've enjoyed this stream and you find value at all in it, please hit that like button on whatever platform you're using. And I'll see you again. Today is Thursday, right? Yeah, today is Thursday. So I'll see you again tomorrow for another Asia Trade Day. And today, yay, we actually got a nice little trade in. Okay. Yesterday was nice, but it was a little bit choppy, and today was nice. So let's just pull up this. Yep. This one. Yep. DXY. We're within the Hong Kong gap. So have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.